there's two things about child sex cases and juries generally that I think are super important to know. Number one, there's a theory about how jury trials are supposed to work that a lot of lawyers believe, and frankly, when you go to law school, this is what they teach you, is true about juries and jury trials and the whole criminal justice system. And that is that the standard in a criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt, and it is a very high standard, and it requires a lot of evidence to convince a jury that a person is guilty of something beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's kind of one side of things. The second side of things is the way it actually works, okay? In a child sex case that is being tried to a jury, yes, the standard is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And you would, if you're in a certain camp, you would believe, well, they must need a whole lot of evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a child sex case. But the truth is, these are the thinnest cases you will see in a criminal court. They're usually based entirely upon two pieces of evidence. Number one, the child said that this occurred, okay? And likely said that this occurred on a videotape that was set up by the government in something called a forensic interview, which just means an interview by a psychologist that interviews kids about sexual abuse claims. So they videotape that interview. If the child says that certain things occurred, that's pretty much the evidence in most child sex cases. And you would think, well, then most people must win those. And the answer is overwhelmingly they do not. Defendants are losing these overwhelmingly with just that amount of evidence. Child says something happened, it's recorded on a video, and then they play that for the jury along with a child psychologist that comes in to explain why this interview is, the things the child said are consistent with sexual abuse. Almost never does the government have physical evidence to support their case, maybe 10% of cases. Usually that's pretty much it. But they're very difficult cases to win, and the answer to the reason why they are is because they're very, very compelling, believable stories that are told in court by a child. And so for whatever reason, those have a really powerful effect on juries, and juries rely on that testimony, and they'll go all the way with it. They'll find a person guilty based upon it and it alone.